Hey guys, and welcome to our channel Catholic Homebody. I am Roxanne and this is my husband Brian, and this video is part 2 of our kitchen bulkhead makeover. If you didn't see the last video, the original plan was to just cover up this ugly hole in board on our kitchen bulkhead, kitchen soffit, just using beadboard. This has been bugging me ever since we took down our upper cabinets and we put in our open kitchen shelves.
What we thought was going to be a quick couple hour process ended up not being the case. We messed up on the corner piece of beadboard and we had to go to the store and get another one. And with that, we decided we were also going to go ahead, we're going to make it better, we're going to add trim and paint.
So stick around to the end so you don't miss our final kitchen bulkhead makeover reveal. And here's a look at everything that went into this makeover.
So step 1, attaching the beadboard. So we bought a 4x8 sheet of beadboard with just under 2-inch wide planks. We actually had to make a cardboard template with 2 pieces of cardboard and tape to hold it together to cut out for this awkward corner section here. So we used a circular saw to make all the cuts for the beadboard. So we added 2x4s and a couple scrap pieces of wood to give the beadboard something to mount to and keep it flush. So to actually attach the beadboard, we used liquid nails and we used an electric nail gun. So funny thing is, with the template, it didn't come out right still. I tried altering it twice and then the first 2 pieces of beadboard still didn't come out right. Even trying to alter those, it wasn't until the 3rd piece we actually got a good cut.
I would say the corner piece was probably like the longest, what took the longest out of this whole project.
For sure.
So step 2 is adding the trim. And for the corner trim, we decided to just go with a PVC corner piece because that was the cheapest, and this flat wood piece because that was the only thing that we could find that matched the same size as the corner piece. And to make the angled cuts, we don't have a miter saw quite yet. So we used this nifty miter box that we picked up from the thrift store for only $3. And I found a couple highly rated ones, very similar to what we used on Amazon. For those who are interested, those are going to be listed in the description box below. And for being this plastic box, I feel like it worked out pretty good. Yeah,
I was actually really impressed with the cuts for doing at 45-degree angle, and also for the corner part we actually had to do cuts at 22.5, which was tricky, but we got it to work.
So, and to actually attach the trim, we also used the liquid nails and the nail gun.
So step 3, filling in all the nail holes. So we used a nail punch to drive in any of the nail heads that were sticking out above the trim or the beadboard. Using the electric nail gun, there were quite a few with the different consistencies of the wood, where some of them were sticking out, some of them were driven in a little bit far, and it was a little bit of an adjustment depending on where the nails were landing.
Especially because it was our 2nd time ever really using it, so
There's a big difference when the nail gun was going straight into just the PVC versus when it was going into almost a 2x4. So we also use paintable silicone caulk to take up any of the gap in between the beadboard and the wall and any joining pieces of beadboard. So we use Bondo wood filler to fill in any of the nail holes, which was actually a pretty interesting experience. It says it has a 5-minute work time, which really ended up not being the case as well.
Yeah, it seemed to go from a peanut butter type consistency to then like semi dried up Play-Doh that like you would have found behind your couch like after a week. But yeah, it was just really difficult, and so we probably made a way bigger mess with applying it than needed. But once that was all dried up, we were able to then sand everything down. And then the fourth step, which was priming everything and painting, which to me is the more fun part of a makeover. I usually can't stand the prep, but I have learned that prep is key. So for primer, we use the Kiltz 2, and the paint we're using is Sherwin Williams Infinity paint, but we had a color match to Benjamin Moore's chantilly lace. It took us a lot of coats to cover up that gray, which I was surprised how many coats we ended up having to do, especially since we did use primer.
3 coats. 2 coats of primer, 3 coats of paint.
Yeah. And then the last step was finally being able to put everything back. I was so relieved by this point of the project. There was finally an end at sight.
I was just so happy to grab my drill and put all the brackets and the shelf back up. That was my favorite part.
And to finally just give the kitchen a nice good clean and have the kitchen and our dining room somewhat back to normal. So I believe that's pretty much everything that went into this project. And before we get into the reveal, question of the video, what is your favorite color for kitchens? Do you prefer a more crisp white or bolder color? Do you like the more bright and airy or dark and moody? Comment below. I would love to know what your preferences are. Now is time for the big kitchen bulkhead makeover reveal, finally.
Yes.
And here is the before. And here is the after. I absolutely love how the kitchen bulkhead came out. I am not gonna lie, I was a little skeptical. Like, I thought it just looked so ugly that there was no hope, especially because you don't really usually see open kitchen shelves with a kitchen bulkhead or soffit. The most frustrating thing about this project was something that I thought like, oh, this would just take a couple hours, took like a whole week to do.
I really like how it came out. I gotta say, I was a little bit skeptical with the first idea of using beadboard, but I think with the cornering trim and everything and the paint, it really came out pretty well, and I'm really pretty impressed with the extent of, you know, us trying to do things ourselves and trying to take on things new, and, you know, not being very well experienced at this, especially with the corner part. That was a frustrating thing. But we tried and we tried and we finally got a good piece, and I think that's overcoming that part is, you know, one of the things that really made it for me.
Yeah, I think that especially as a beginner DIYer, that things are going to take us probably longer than it needs to. Especially because, you know, being parents to 7 small kids, you know, we have to stop like every 5 to 10 minutes, it feels like. But things worked out, and I'm happy to continue learning new skills, and we're one little step closer to completing our house. Thank you so much for watching our video. If you haven't already done it before, be sure to check out part 1, at least for a good laugh. And please give this video a thumbs up, along with hit that subscribe button. We talk about all things home, things such as DIY home improvement, homemaking, home decor, and homeschooling.